There's Pumpkin. I let her back out with the boys, but because she ended up, it must have been a false pregnancy because she wasn't cycling when I had her isolated, and you can see now she's considerably taller than Gumbo, my biggest American guinea hog boar. So I don't know that he'll be able to breed her, but right off of the pen that I keep the boys in, you can see I've got a gate, and periodically I will let them into this area here, which is my irrigated grass patch that I call the Grassture. What this is the first patch that I was experimenting with planting grass, and being new to the desert Southwest, I wanted to see in a controlled environment different things, different species of grass that would grow here, and how much it would take to water, how much it would take to seed it, to fertilize it and things like that. And what I found is, so it was 2 years ago is when I spread most of the seed, and I kind of did a patch over there that was with some annual grass just to get some established in here, and I did mix in some clover and some pasture seed, just a broad pasture seed, forage seed. And then over on that side I did the same thing with a little bit different methodology. And there's Asher. Hi Asher. We're going out for our pre-nap morning stroll here. And then throughout the center here was just kind of a mixture of several different attempts over the last 2 years. Now this year I did not put anything in here, and all I've done is irrigate it for 1 hour every night after it's gone dark. And what I found is I've actually got a pretty broad group of species, and I think I've got more than what I originally planted, so I think some of the natural grasses are starting to come up. And one of the reasons being is, like, when I'm stepping on this, I can actually feel, you can see that you've got some movement. So I did amend this with manure over the last 2 years. I haven't done anything to it this year. As I said, the only thing that I've done is I've made sure that it was watered throughout the hot times of the year. And so this patch here started pretty much like this here, so it was real hard. If you see my pasture raking videos, you know what the ground started with, or started like before it was disturbed at all or amended at all. And this one here, like I said, I started out, I spread some seed, I covered it with some manure that was actually composted, and gave it just a thin layer on those areas. And then throughout the center here was just kind of a broad, I was casting direct manure on there. And the other side of it is I would let the grass grow up some, and then it would die off and cover the ground too. So we've got some sections where you can see that, and it's taken a couple years, but we have a relatively covered pasture now. And we've got it seeded with, I say pasture, this is what I call the Grassture area. And we've got it seeded with warm and cool weather grasses and legumes. And so right now what we're seeing is the transition. You can see some of this stuff is dying off, and it's no hotter than it was at the hottest part of the summer. And this stuff was like super green. It was growing up. I mean, some of it was like 3 feet tall. And so I had to come in and chop it down, run it over with my riding mower, and I mulched it in. So that's all stayed in here. And I've let the boars in here a couple times, and so they've added their manure. They've rooted around a little bit. You can see the chickens come in here and they dust bathe a little bit. So they're tilling up the soil, loosening it a little bit. And I also did a small experiment in my raised bed garden with straight alfalfa the first year that I planted alfalfa in here, and I wanted to see how well that would grow over there with surprisingly not as much water as gets spread in here. And what I found was that the deeper, looser soil allowed that to grow much better over in that environment. And so the theory is, as this continues to get organic matter applied to the soil, either by me coming in and spreading it around, or just by allowing the natural cycle of the grass to die down each year and create an organic mat of sort in here. I'm gonna go for a little stroll with Asher so he's not just sitting here. But that organic matter will continue to thicken the top soil layer, and with bugs and all that stuff, actually grow a healthy soil to where it won't have to be irrigated as much, if at all, depending on what the season is. There's some, obviously in the summertime it gets really hot. I can't foresee it not needing to be irrigated in the summer with the types of grasses that I have in here. Now, my approach with the pasture is going to be a lot different, because I'm going to be spreading drought specific or drought tolerant specific varieties out in the pasture that should not need as much as the stuff that is in here. But as I've only started that process, it may take, like this, like I said, this is 2 years in the process here. That may take 2 years or more for that pasture to actually somewhat establish itself. So if you haven't seen those videos, I'll leave a link in the description, starting out with the first video there of me raking the pasture. And I have not, let's see, it is the beginning, or well, second week of October right now, and we haven't really had any rain in the last 6 weeks since I started making those videos on dragging the pasture. We're supposed to get some here in the next 2 or 3 weeks, but that can change at any time. So hopefully, we've had a really dry summer. Hopefully we'll have a little bit better moisture, or a little better precipitation in the winter time here, fall, winter, than we had at any point this summer. And we can at least start to establish some of that seed out there. But that's gonna do it for this particular video, and I'm gonna be shooting a bunch of different footage today, although I might release it at different points in time. So if you see me wearing the same shirt and everything like that, it's just a matter of how much content I got recorded on the same day. But as I said in the last video, that actually, as of right now, has not been released yet. I should be uploading that today. My wife had surgery, and so she's actually in recovery over at our duplex, and I'm on full-time baby duty out on the farm here. We go in to visit her. But you want to say hi? You want to say hi to everybody? Got a little bit of breakfast left over. Hi, everybody. Hi, everybody. Hi. So I'll go over the different projects that I've been working on in the last couple weeks here on the house, and that's going to be, if you haven't seen that video, I'll leave that one in the description too, but it's about this wall that we worked on, getting the mini split system in place and hooked up, and that's been working awesome. I actually need to take this window unit out. It hasn't been running for about a week and a half. I just left it there in the event that for some reason something happened and the mini split wasn't operating adequately, but it has been everything that I hoped it would be and more, and hasn't been running long enough for me to get any kind of power bill or anything like that. But at the same time, it hasn't been as hot out as it is in the peak of summer, so we're kind of in that weird transition in the fall where you can see the grass is dying off because it's getting cold at night. We're getting to like high 40s, low 50s at night instead of the 70s and 80s at night like it was in the summertime. But we're still getting up into the 90s and sometimes up into the hundreds during the day. So there is still cooling that is done, but with the added insulation and all that stuff, which I'll go over today, it's between the mini split, the insulation, and the drywall now in the ceiling, we're actually experiencing much more comfortable environment in the house. So, and that's allowing me, just with having the mini split, with putting up the insulation and the drywall especially, it's been much more comfortable for me to work in the house. So I've gotten more done over the last week or so, even with my wife not being here, because I can work at night as long as I'm not making too much noise or banging around. I can work at night once my son goes to bed, so that's about an hour and a half or 2 hours at times that I get some productivity. So that'll be the next video that I shoot footage for here, is going through and showing you the drywall progress and the mini split final install now that the drywall is up in the ceilings and everything like that. And what going forward, I'm out of drywall now, so when we go to my wife's follow-up surgery appointment, I'll pick up another 20 plus sheets of drywall or whatever and work on finishing up the rest of that stuff. So as always, thank you for joining us. If you like this video, please give us a thumbs up. Leave us a comment down in the comment section if you would, if there's something that you would like to see more of or less of, I guess, too. And if you haven't already, please consider subscribing to our channel. Please share these videos with anybody that you think might find them interesting. Even if you don't live out in the desert, just seeing how, you know, someone else has to homestead or whatever. Hopefully I'm sharing ideas that other people can also emulate, or at least inspire other people to think differently on what they're currently doing. And also click the bell icon for notifications for future videos as we release new content and keep you up to date with what's going on the farm. So as always, thanks for joining us, and God bless.